So until I see your screen, now, did you hear about mesh communication before?
Mesh communication?
Or mesh, the mesh, yeah. It's a method of communication. Did you hear about it
Yes,
before?
I've heard of it before. Yeah.
Okay, what is it? So can you describe it to me? I didn't write it in the questions, but I want to confirm that you have a proper answer for that. So it is
it's
not
called
mesh communication. It is like, let's say, mesh networks, just to be accurate in the term. Can you define a mesh network?
Well, mesh networks, they're like called mesh networks because like the nodes are like, how do I say, like very like interconnected, and that like structure of it like resembles a mesh.
Okay. Okay, interesting answer. But then, if why should we use it in communication, or even if I would say networks or communication, it means that I'm talking about the communication between the robot and the servers. So why would we resort to using a mesh networks in the case of robots?
Because there's redundancy available.
No. So a mesh network, typically, sometimes it was um, popular at certain times if you use torrents to download movies before. So they use this kind of mesh networks where, so assume that you have robot one, and this is robot one, this is robot two, and assume that here is the server, and here is robot 3, and here is robot 4. So this is a group of robots in the rescue site. And assume that we want to send a signal, a data. Let's say the data is here. So we want to send the data from R2 until it reaches the server. The server is located around the outside the rescue site. So assume here everything here is the rescue site. So if we want to communicate with the server, sometimes we are so deep inside the rescue site that we are not able to establish how to say, eye of sight. So typically, if you are out of eye of sight, it means that the communication are not able to be established between the R2 and the server directly. It's very hard. Even if you're using Wi-Fi, it's not possible. So in this case, R2 will search or will look for the nearest robot to it, and then he will send the data that he want to send to the server to R2. R2 will send it to R. He will search for the nearest robot, and then he will find that R3 is the nearest, so he will send it to R3. And R3 also will scan the nearest robot, and then he will send it to R4, and then R4, since it is the nearest to the server, it's the one that's going to send it to the server. So this is what we call a mesh networks. So data is not sent directly from the client to the server. It's sent to the nearest peer. Sometimes in reality, they call it B2B, like that. Okay, because it's peer-to-peer. They call this R2 and R1 is two peers, and they are communicating directly. They are not communicating from the client to the server. If you were talking about WhatsApp, for example, so WhatsApp is me and you, if we communicate using the WhatsApp, so it's me here and you are here, we cannot communicate directly. This WhatsApp does not allow that. You have the messages all have to go to the server like that, and then from the server it comes back to you. So they keep control of everything, but we are not able to communicate directly. Did I make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so that is what's called mesh network. Okay, then you can please try to attempt the answers. Actually, correct. Yes, yes, this is correct. Yes, it's good. It's good. So may I know if we would like to use this ultra wideband technology in the robot, how we would? So I mean, where can we use it, and why? Why do you think we can benefit from this kind of technology?
Well, first of all, high transfer rates mean that data can be, which means that like important data can be transmitted more quickly, which can be very important in rescue operations,
Okay, that's
as well as
perfect.
the high bandwidth.
Okay, that's good. But let me just tell you that um, we are assuming that sometimes um, we cannot establish an eye of sight. Uh, so it means that maybe Wi-Fi would not work. So we need always to find alternatives. One of the alternatives is a mesh network, like we told you. Ultra wide band also, it's one of the possible technologies that can be used. Do you know what is the meaning Starlink?
Starlink, I think
Yes.
I've heard of it before. Yeah.
Did you hear about Elon Musk?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So this Elon Musk actually built this Starlink and one of its usages that you use it for is that it's actually quite not so expensive, it's quite cheap. It's a device that you can purchase it for I think $300 or something, so 300 USD, and then you are able to establish internet communications using the Starlink satellites that is owned by Elon Musk. So this is also beside this ultra wideband is one of the possible communications ways to communicate with the internet or even with the rescue team. So I would like also to highlight to you that no, I totally forgot the point that I would like to mention it, but never mind. Yeah, you can just continue. Starlink is actually already used in many rescue operations, so that's why we mention it here. So many robots that go under the sea or even in caves have used Starlink for internet communication. So here it's okay. Just mention pulsed lasers, and they used to create 3D shapes or maps of the Earth and the surfaces on top of the Earth. Okay.
Yep.
Other than that, you are okay. Continue, please. So Leo, your answer also is okay. It's fine. The thing is that I would like to emphasize on scalability. The scalability here, it's meant that um, when they use edge computing on top of the robot, it means that they are able to reduce the amount of processing power that is needed by the servers. So um, if a lot of robots is communicating with the server and then they don't have edge computing, it means that the more robots that need to be at the rescue site, they need to upgrade or make the computing power at the server much higher because they need to take and communicate data between a lot of robots. But when you use edge computing, means that you are processing the data locally and taking decisions locally on each robot. So it means that they need the less computing power at the server. So the more robots that you have, it doesn't affect or it doesn't mean that you need to increase the computing power of the server. Does this make sense? So we are able
Yep.
to actually scale more robots without needing to upgrade the servers. So that is, and of course the collaboration, like what you mentioned, they are able to communicate the local maps, reading of sensors, and between the different robots. And because they have edge computing, so they are able to process the data that's also sent to them from other robots. And one more thing is that sometimes that, oh, we have to close and open again, Leo.